Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man too. Did you see that? I think it's Stitchy Mayhem has stricken. Hi, how are you? What's going on? It's May. Full of mayhem. Yes, indeed. Well, Toni, you started Stitchy Mayhem. Where have you been? Well, mayhem is mayhem. And you seem far away. Hold on. Okay. I'm trying to figure out this lighting. It's way late at night when I'm doing this. So, yeah, it's been a fun May so far. Nothing major, just stuff, life. Painting chest of drawers to go in closets. What else? My husband decided we needed plants, so I went looking for plants. If you don't care about this, skip ahead and then we'll talk about the other stuff going on, but I just thought I'd tell you that we bought plants. Yes, and if you're in the States and there's a Lowe's, so it's like a big box store, you know, outdoor plumbing, all that kind of stuff, like Home Depot. But I don't know, here in my neck of the woods, they have, in their garden department, they have sort of like a clearance area. So it's great. It's like plants that are, they're not dead, they just don't look pretty, but you can get them for half price. So I went a little nuts buying plants, and I got some of them planted, and then we've had rain, we've had hail, we've had bad mold allergens. It's been a fun time. So yeah, so I'm late getting this little update in, but that's life. So I've seen several people talk about Mayhem. I think we've all kind of conglomerated Stitch Mania, Stitch Sania, Monogamous May, Stitchy Mayhem. What else has there been? Mirabilia May. So, you know, that's good. It's healthy. I think that's healthy. People just have designated May as sort of a special month. So, what have I done? Well, I don't have a pile of stuff in front of me because it is so late at night, so I'm just going to insert a lot of photos. Pretend I'm holding it up like this and trying to get it in the camera, which I'm usually not that good at. Okay, so the first thing, I do have a finish of my little Frida. I did finish it. I will show a picture here. And I did put it in I've had this hoop. It's one of those rubberized, where the outer ring is rubberized, and then there's a hard plastic inner ring. And I really hate it for the most part to use it because I never can get it to work right for me. But I thought it would work really well with old Frida girl. And then my thought was I had a sort of a fiesta, little flower rings, you know, or little hoops you do it in the springtime, or fiesta, which happens down here, and it didn't quite fit. I thought it would be as large as the hoop, but it wasn't. So I'll insert the second picture here. And so I still need to figure out something to do with it, and that'll be a finish, and I'll just hang it on my wall upstairs in my office / craft room. So, I'm happy to have a little finish. Meanwhile, let me think. Oh, here's a little, I'm going to insert a photo that many of you know that this year I've been working on a black work Sal, the peppermint purple black work Sal, which is on Facebook. It's a free stitch along. She releases a new little square or rectangle every week. So we are currently on week 19 as I film this. So we're about a month and a half out from being halfway through the year. I didn't iron it. Okay, I'm just telling you, I didn't iron it. And I'm going to insert a photo here. Most weeks, black work's kind of a funny thing. For everybody that doesn't know what black work is, just think of it as fancy backstitch. It's really all it is. And most weeks, I really like it. It's kind of fun. I have to kind of disassemble the pattern in my head and then redo it, because sometimes I break up the colors and stuff like that. But 2 weeks ago, I got behind, and 2 weeks ago, the pattern looked deceptively easy until you went to do it, and it's just taken me a lot longer. So it was a rectangle. And then the one from this past week, I started on it because I threw up my hands with the other one. And it'll be okay, but I am off, so I have to tear part of it out, put it back in. I don't want to play with it right now, so I'm showing it to y'all. Just, be transparent. And, but yeah. So that took up a fair amount of the first part of May, off and on, in between, like I said, buying a chest of drawers off of Facebook Marketplace. It was cheapy cheap. I was going to put it upstairs in the craft room. I have great ideas of organizing the craft room. Well, I can't get that thing up the stairs for love nor money. So I decided I would use it in our bedroom closet because I need something in there. I had something. I thought, well, I'll switch it out because it's one of those little cube things, the little, like 6 or 9 cubes, and some of them have the little microfiber little drawers and stuff in them. So I thought, oh, well, I can get that upstairs. No, I can't. So right now it's sitting on the landing on my stairs. But I had to paint the chest of drawers. And then I had to buy new hardware because it just had these little wooden knobs, which I didn't really like. So I had to go glass knobs because that's much more foo-foo. So, and of course, for whatever reason, even though they sent 3 sets of screws to go with the knobs, with the glass knobs, for whatever you put the glass knobs on, because they realized there'd be, could have different thicknesses. None of the 3 worked with this chest of drawers. They were off by, I think, like 1/8 of an inch. It's always 1/8 of an inch. And so I found some in the garage, but then I had to buy some. Then I'd forget to buy them. So I finally bought them. So I had drawers scattered here and there, and it was just been kind of crazy. And what else? Now, new starts. We have another sound that is the Bigfoot sound. What did I call it? It's my sound. I should know, right? Bigfoot. Oh, I'll put it here somewhere.
Bigfoot Mayhem sound.
Anyway, the, well, here, let me, I lied. Maybe I'll show you. I don't know. Hold on. I'll show you the pattern because that's big faux pas. We shall not do that. Okay. This is the Bigfoot bunch from Plum Street Samplers. There's a few of us doing this. This is much more teeny tiny than I thought. I'm doing on 18 count Ada, which I decided I like 18 count Ada even though I can't see it that well, which reminds me I am going to get my eyes checked next week and to tell her that I can't see worth a flip when I do cross stitch, which is driving me nuts and which is part of the issue because between the allergens and stitching, I get to where my eyes just hurt and then I have to stop. Some people get arthritis. I don't have any problem with arthritis. Mine is my eyeballs. So anyway, I'm doing this for my husband because he loves Bigfoot. So, and I ran into a couple, nothing's ever easy for me. So I didn't have the overdyes, so I was going to use just DMC, and I had most of them. There's a couple I'm missing, and then I thought, I don't want to do just play DMC because I want the leaves to have some texture, so I just grabbed some green I had. It wasn't the called for. It was different, but it, served the same purpose. And I have fought with this, and fought with this, and fought with this, and fought with this because it keeps shredding. Or it knots up, and then it shreds. But it's worked out. I just started, actually, with the leaves. Look how tiny this is. Whoops, hold on. I know everybody always has a needle minder, not me. I do this. Okay, I know.
You can't do that because you might swallow it.
She said, watch tomorrow. Okay, so I'll put in a picture just in case. See how small this is? This is teeny tiny. But that's where we are so far. And up here, the only problem is going to be, it's not a problem, it's just going to be a pain, is up here when you look at the photo, there's a little baby Bigfoot, and that is done, because this was originally done on 36 count using one strand of floss over 2 linen threads, except they want you to do 1/1, I think, for the faces. So since I'm doing on 18 count, it's okay. I mean, you just do it. So I haven't messed with that yet. And I'll put another picture in here, somewhere here. So that was my new start. It does go, actually, when I spend time enough to start on it, it goes pretty fast. So I think he'll like it. And I can't decide. I don't think it does any good to make like a little pillow, because where's he going to put it? And the dogs will just eat it. So I'll probably put it in a little frame or something, and he can put it somewhere next to him and think of me whenever he's doing whatever he's doing. So that's that. Okay. So, Stitch Mayhem. How I've envisioned Stitch Mayhem is that it is a time for one to explore things that one doesn't usually do. So, a couple of things that I've started on that I generally don't do, or I did them 40 years ago. One is needlepoint. I did needlepoint a little bit when I was a kid. Not very much. Almost virtually none, but I can't say I've never done it. So a while back, I bought on eBay through the Royal School of Needlework just the cutest needlepoint kit of this adorable little hand-painted little kitty cat on a pillow. And I just didn't even want to touch it. But I thought, no, you should needlepoint it. And so I will insert a picture of it here. And you'll see that I just barely started on it. And instead of starting on like a really good solid area, I started on the ear and the white in the ear. So, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I do in essence. I mean, needlepoint, not that hard. It's a tent stitch, okay? It uses yarn. It's on a canvas. It's not that hard. It's faster than cross stitch. But here are my questions, okay? Because I didn't really get instructions. I got, they sent me sort of the general instruction for a tent stitch, which is very basic. And, you know. So here's my question. As you look at the photo I enclosed, so my face is getting really close. It's small. The canvas, the holes are small. So I've only been using one yarn, one ply of yarn, or however you want to say it. Because it seems like I read that on here somewhere. I think it looks okay, but then I think, well, maybe it's supposed to look thicker. I don't know. But, in the little examples, they're just using one thread, not thread, but one yarn. And it's kind of fun because you can make a knot. And, you put the knot, you do the waist knot. And is that where you get waist knot? Want knot? No, I guess not. So it's kind of fun because you make the knot and then I don't have to worry about losing the thread or anything, and then you just lop it off later. And so that's one question. Like, is there a rule of thumb? Like there is in cross stitch, like if it's 14 count, you're going to use 2 or 3 stitches versus if you're using, 40 count linen, you're only going to use one, length of floss. The other thing is, as you'll see in the photo, I put it on, because this is canvas, this is not fabric. So I put it on, I have a 17 by 17 Q-snap, which is ginormous and not fun. It's not fun. And I thought about doing, switching things out and making it 17 by 8, but it's still not going to be that much fun. But I'm worried about just, the reason I used it was because I could do virtually the whole canvas stretched on it. Now, I don't know, can I stretch a canvas, a needlepoint canvas on something like a Q-snap if it's only partially part of the canvas? Is that a big faux pas? Am I going to regret that? I mean, I started kind of doing it, stitching in hand, and I thought, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do that. Usually you see it on a hoop or something. So anyway, if you know the answers to these questions, please let me know. And there was something else. I'm still nervous about it because it's beautifully painted. And so the shading is wonderful. But it's messed me up with the transition. And, oh my gosh, do I have it? Well, no, here's a photo. Let me put a photo in. Look at all the different colors of yarn. It's amazing. It's like doing a dimensions kit, but hopefully it will look okay. But that sort of it is. There is some mayhem in this because I truly, of course I don't do something simple. I have something from the Royal School of Needlework to do this. So, anyway, then the last thing, okay, okay, here's the backstory. When I was a child, yes, back then, Life books used to be Life magazine. Well, then Life magazine had Life books. And then eventually, somewhere it morphed over time to like Time Life. Things you see on TV, 30-minute commercials for Time Life. The 70s, music of the 70s. Well, back then it was just Life books. And there was a series of books called The Great Religions of the World. And I was fascinated by this when I was a little kid. And so each book, I think, had one or two of the great world religions. So, you had Buddhism, you had Hinduism, you had Judaism, you had Islam, you had Christianity and stuff. And within each one, there was, a history, it was sort of the history of that religion. But there was so much artwork. There were beautiful pieces of art, sculpture, and things depicting things in that religion. And as a little kid, they had the artwork as part of the Sistine Chapel by Michelangelo. And it showed like this one panel, and this was from like the Judgment in Christianity. So it depicts like sort of like people being, summarily assigned heaven or hell, and just the overwhelming horror of this. And there was this one, and I remembered this as a child, there was this one part of the murals, I guess you call it murals, frescoes, of a man sitting like on a rock, and he has his hand on his face, and he is in abject horror of his fate. And it scared the bejesus out of me, because he just looked scared. I was a little kid and I thought, I don't want that. And it's kind of scary. I don't know. Very scary. So one of the things I wanted, so I said all that to say this. One of the things I wanted to kind of look at was embroidery. Now, if I were a smart girl, which apparently I'm not, I would have found some pretty little flower to embroider or something, or a holly. We used to do embroidery when I was a kid. This was in the 70s, so when I was like in high school, you would embroider blue jean jackets. Do we remember this? So holly hobby was very popular, and flowers and peace signs and stuff, and so you would embroider your jean jacket with such. And so do I think to do that? No. This is Kristi. This is Kristi's fault. Dr. Kristi's Korner, because she does embroidery. But part of what she does is medieval kind of stuff. So it's real funky looking. It's not normal embroidery. And then there's a woman who teaches medieval embroidery and has a Instagram. In fact, I've seen stuff from her on YouTube, and I'll link it. And her stuff is just crazy stuff too, and it's very specific type of embroidery. They do couching, they do it's very particular, and it's very niche, right? So for whatever reason, I originally thought I would do something sort of from Elizabethan, sort of, Tudor Stuart era. Because when Mary Stuart was imprisoned by Elizabeth I, she did a lot of embroidery, which was kind of tongue-in-cheek, sort of, in some regards, because she didn't like being imprisoned. But I thought, no, because I don't want to do that. And then I thought about my little man on the rock. And I thought, ooh, I could do that. Why? Why would I do that? Why? What in my brain comes up with this cockamamie kind of thought? So I printed out, I found it. I found my man on a rock on the internet, and then I printed them out, and I thought, I had these little squares. I have these little squares of like muslin or whatever that I use for another purpose altogether. And I thought, well, that's just about the right size, because I don't want to do this too big. And I thought, I am going to embroider this and see what it turns out like. In certain types of this medieval embroidery, there's a very specific way you do things like skin and stuff like that. It's very different. And I thought, well, I'll try that, because I've lost my mind. And so, but first, I have to take that photograph, and somehow I need to transfer it to this little piece of muslin. They don't make transfer paper. Like, I remember, like, you would take it and you would use a stylus or something, you put it over, between the fabric and the photograph or whatever you want it, and you just pencil over it and it would transfer it. No, I thought I had something like that, but it wasn't. It was some stupid thing where you're supposed to take a wax pencil and do something or other and do it that way, and then iron it or something onto your piece of fabric, and it was all convoluted. But then I read that the original way that apparently they would transfer some of this was to take whatever you wanted to embroider and the drawing or whatever, and punch little holes in it with a pen, and then put that over your fabric, and then put some type of dye, well, like powdered dye or something like that, on top of that so that it would go through the holes and then get your outline. Well, of course, I don't have like that hanging around, but I do have bronzer that I never used that I got in some kit somewhere along the way. So I used that. So I'm there with a makeup brush going, psh. Is this making sense to anybody? I've lost my mind. It is really late at night. I don't even know what time it is. It's really late at night. And if I go back and listen to this and think, I have lost my mind, you may never see this. Anyway, that's what I did. So I'm going to put okay, first I'm going to, so you can laugh. First, I'm going to put the photo of what this is supposed to look like. Right here, right? Isn't he scary? He's scary. Now, here is my rendition of it by the time I tried doing the whole little powder and the whole method, and then went over it with, what is this thing called? I use it for cross stitch, a needle drawing pen, the kind you can wash out or whatever. And I went over it with that. So I've started on that. So I will show you my start. He doesn't quite look like the photo. I'm hoping he has some semblance of that. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to come back here and show you. But I'm going to do it. I may burn it afterwards, but I'm going to show it. So, those are my plans, I guess. Do I have any more plans for May? No. Because I'm way behind. Because I want to get my little Bigfoot done. That's the main thing. That's the real thing. I would like, a solid start to the little needlework thing. I think that'll go fast. It's just, I'm going to have to, it's almost like confetti because the colors are kind of all blended in. But please let me know if I'm doing something like hideously wrong. But, or I should be doing something else. And then my little man on a rock. Which, I don't know. Here's what I figure. I figure if nothing else, if I get done with him and he's just really totally hideous, I'm going to slap a magnet on him and make him a needle minder. So, those are my plans. I should not do this late at night. I just haven't had time to do it during the day, or it's been icky outside and dark and dreary and bleh. Hope you have a wonderful week this week. You get all your stitching done. If you've made it this long, I don't know why, but thank you. I forgot to say, did I even say who I am at the beginning? No. I was so discombobulated by that radio interference. So, thank you for being subscribed to this channel. If you just happened on here and you're like, what the heck is going on? I'm not usually this rambly, but I am today. So please subscribe so you can see me when I'm not as rambly. And, yeah. You may never see this. This may never see the light of day. Because I may end up just redoing the whole kit and caboodle. But if you do see it, okay, bye-bye.